Our intro music taken right out of the pages of DJ Tiesto, apparently. Craig G hanging out here, Canadian AF, also known as Canadian as fuck. This is episode number 18. The bottom of the screen, we have got our new friend Shades Lawrence. We're going to be chatting with her, and I'm so excited. Anyway, we're going to get things going. Yeah, honestly, we're going to get things going, and Dimitri, if you could do the land acknowledgement, please.
We here at Canadian as Fuck acknowledge that the land on which we're meeting is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. Canadian as Fuck also acknowledges that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, with the Mississaugas of the Credit.
So much amazing Canadian music to get to tonight. And as I say, we're so blessed. We're so lucky to have Shades Lawrence joining us tonight. We're going to start out the program with some music. This is a fucking banger. Turn this one up, my friends. Shades Lawrence. This is called Tiny House. Canadian as Fuck right here on Revolution Radio Canada.
This song for a tiny house. Who this song for a tiny house. Who this song for a tiny house. Who this song for. Remember me, mother of freedom. Queen don't know that one leads. We don't know that upkeep stewarding while the sun sleeps. Clean that dump heap, trash in the oceans. Don't run deep, get a boat, man. Go recycle, the only hope stands on a unicycle. Pipelines not allowed underground, rivers or lakes as forests sway. Fires replay, we are the state signs say. Temp too hot, we got by the rumors. Steps are not hard to see. Fossil fuel industry needs to stop. Rules we need, no guidelines. Get up to speed, hard to breathe. We all agree. Justice, no doubt. Say it loud. Justice right now. A tiny house. Justice, no doubt. Say it loud. Justice right now. A tiny house. This ferry creek in line 3. Scaring me. No planet B. Planting trees, land defenders. Standing free, water protectors. My heart beats, forest fires. We can only start seeds. Heat waves above and the sun beats. The maid above and the sun leads. Land defenders. Honor them and degree. Thank you from the future that breathes. Caribou with needs staring at me for weeks. Continents, harbor tankers that leak. The ocean that speaks. No justice, no peace, no ruptures, no leaks. Pipelines that need recycling. In the best way, rights are named. Stay Western. Justice, no doubt. Say it loud. Justice right now. A tiny house. Justice, no doubt. Say it loud. Justice right now. A tiny house. Free, prior, and informed consent. The land worth more than all amounts of red cents. The courts finesse. Pipelines are fleeting. This planet, no sequel. Who you know leading? First peoples, no pipelines. Land is unseated. The stands are for keeping, not for us. They for leaving old growth. I got more hope. More folks care about this planet. For sure. Shorelines don't erode. The wheel is for spokes who colonize. The deal is get woke, right futures. Speak with humor, change the trees. Just a few ones years ago. Fight the tumor, the cancer, the hubris. The stance is for cougars, the dance is for movement. The song is for a tiny house. This is what the people about, say it loud. Justice right now. A tiny house. Justice right now. A tiny house. This is what the people about, say it loud. Justice right now. A tiny house. Justice right now. A tiny house.
Yes, on Canadian as Fuck this week we have Montreal hip-hop artist Shades Lawrence. That is... Yeah. She's been getting busy in 2022. That is that the first single you dropped this year?
No, I dropped another single called Love Ting and Tiny House. And Tiny House, I'd have to say, is the most important song that I have penned so far.
Ooh.
So I'm really glad to release that and to get that out there for sure. Because
Okay.
yeah,
It's an environmental plea.
it's about environmental justice and it's about what's happening on in British Columbia right now. And it's just really important to get the RCMP off the Yinta, off the land there, because they're trying to put a pipeline through without the free, prior, and informed consent of the Wet'suwet'en folks there. And
Yeah.
so Tiny House is inspired by their struggle, and it's to bring attention and to bring awareness to that, so that as Canadians, we have a little bit more of an understanding of where our tax dollars like actually go, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And I gotta say, this is something we've talked a lot about through all 18 episodes of Canadian as Fuck. It's like what hip hop is doing in this country, and like in particularly in this country with with First Nations hip hop artists like really telling their unique stories with hip hop, and now you like who like with Jamaican, Scottish, Irish background and everything, and you are, I mean, tremendously earnest rapper. Do you get a lot of
Thank you.
do you get a lot
Thank
of
you.
flack back for your earnestness though?
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. I mean, the thing about it is that I think it's important to speak truth in music and to speak truth to power in a way. And in this day and age, it's really important with the climate crisis that's happening and the forest fires, the droughts, the heat waves all across Canada and globally as well, to really speak to that. And I have to say that the folks that have heard my music have been very supportive and have been very open to that and to hearing more.
Well, that's
And
good.
I'm really glad for that, and I'm really thankful for that, because it's important to speak truth in music, and that's something that I try to do and try to bring in every song that I write.
And also on top of being a hip hop artist, you're also a poet. And you've done a lot of you've collaborated with Big Freedia, Cakes to Killa, Princess Nokia, or shared a stage with them at the very least.
Share the stage with them, yeah. I would
Yeah,
correct you on that. I haven't
yeah.
collaborated with them yet, but
Not yet,
that's on
not
my
yet.
list. That's on my list. It's on my list.
For sure. Yeah.
So what is the difference in your approach when you're writing a poem or when you're writing a verse? Like I find your verses very poetic already. Like when it's just in your music.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a different approach when you're making a poem or as opposed to making a track?
To be honest, well, I started out with hip hop music when I was about 16 or 17, and I started out because I used to play ball. I used to play basketball, and I started out with my teammates, and they used to make music with like they used to go like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that kind of thing. And I used to just freestyle. So that's how I started out with hip hop. But when I came back to Montreal from Vancouver, I decided to jump into poetry. And I really appreciated that experience because it's just about like flowing on the track. It's the same with hip hop music. And it's about speaking truth in music. It's about speaking truth in poetry. And it's the exact same kind of a process, whether I write a poem or whether I write a song. And right now it's hip hop music all the way through. And that's what it is.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Dimitri, if I may, just wondering in regards to, first off, I want to say your flow is fucking stellar. Like,
Thank you.
really super,
Thank
super,
you.
super
I
awesome.
appreciate that a lot. I appreciate
I
that a lot.
adore your flow, and I can see where
I was
comparisons.
saying that underneath
I-
Dimitri. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
but
I was going to say
totally
I can
what-
see where the comparisons to Lauryn Hill can come from, because you have a tendency to kind of like go over the one on the bar and continue your thought and continue your flow and your thoughts essentially. And I adore that style of hip hop. And for me, it's just dying. It's just not the
There's
thing
some
anymore. So
There-
it's
no,
great.
there's some
Which
people
sure,
keeping it alive.
yes,
Yeah.
of course there are, Dimitri.
It's just not as prevalent.
And I'm sure
It's
you
just
probably
not as
have a
prevalent.
couple of names for it, but it's not as prevalent. It's not da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, which is
Well, now
which I'm sorry. Well, it just
It's a lot
like
of
I'm not.
Cuban. It's a lot of
I'm not
Cuban.
a-
There's a lot of Latin-based beats
There
right
are
now,
sure.
and that takes away from that flow.
Okay. I don't know where we're going at this point in time. All I'm saying is that Shane's flow is fucking amazing. So I'm going to
Thank
get
you.
back into that. So
I appreciate that, Craig.
one of the things that I was going to ask you is in regards to your writing. This is one thing that I'd really like to get from any hip hop artist that we talk to. When you are writing your poetry, or essentially when you're going to be putting it, when you're going to be spitting it onto wax and putting it out, like, are you conscious of your flow? Like, does it matter to you, or are you just kind of looking at your poetry and saying lyrically and rhythmically, this is how it makes sense? Like, I'm just wondering how you kind of approach putting your bars together.
To be honest, that's a really good question, and I appreciate it a lot. The real priority for me as I write and as I proceed with that process is to talk about environmental justice, really, and talk about Indigenous rights, talk about protecting freshwater lakes and cleaning up the oceans and things like that. And that's why I put that in the lyrics. And I put that in a very strong way, and I make sure it flows well. So I appreciate your commentary about my flow as well, because it's important to remember that we're on Indigenous land, and it's land that has been forcibly
Amen. We sure are.
removed.
Yep.
And so that's the
Yep.
priority for me, is to recall that in all of my lines. And I do have some that are like a bit love songs, but for Tiny House and for No Return as well, it's just really important to recall that all the time and to keep that at the front of my mind as I write.
Very
Environmental justice and justice for Indigenous folks on Canada, which is land that has been forcibly removed
Okay.
and taken.
I'm very fortunate in the fact that I really appreciate your Indigenous just
Standpoint?
empowerment and your stance and the fact that you're spitting the bars that you are. I really am. I sincerely appreciate it. I was very fortunate to find out like 8 years ago that I'm Métis. I'm part Ojibwe.
Oh wow.
So I'm working on getting my card right now. So
Okay.
I'm super stoked
All the
about
best with
that.
that.
Yeah, honestly, and it's such a what an amazing thing to find out. You know, it's
About identity, yeah.
exactly, yeah, absolutely. So if I'm sorry, Dimitri, go ahead.
Well, you mentioned identity, and that's something we're also the next song we're going to hear is called No Return, and I just sort of wanted to ask some questions about that one. Like,
Okay, yeah, for sure.
yeah, because like, it's a song. The very first line of the song is that this is a song about Canada, but is it also about identity, like self-identity? Because because you beat me. I'm only. You have 3 grandparents that are immigrants to this country. I only have 2, so you beat me. But
Nice.
the thing is, I guess I can kind of relate to some of the things you say in your song, because as somebody who's only got 2 Greek grandparents, and then like my other side of my family is from Port Credit, it's like when you had that line in the song about like, I don't, like, people say I don't deserve my patois, and it's like, and it's just like, wow, it's like, it's like I often feel like when I'm around family or when I'm on the Danforth or something, I'm not Greek enough, and it's like
real.
and I feel like that really hit home for me, and like I probably something you didn't even intend, but it's like, it seems to me like you've arrived at a place where you're at peace with who you are, and I'm wondering how much, like, and like some of your older songs, like no gown, or tux no gown, like, and
So down,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like how long of a process was that for you? And do you have advice for other people like who are trying to go through a process of getting comfortable with who they are?
Well, that's a really good question, and those are two questions like wrapped in one. And I really want to applaud you for catching those lyrics about identity, because it's really an important aspect of the song. No return, and I'm glad that you can relate and can kind of connect to those lines. And in terms of advice, like it takes time, and like I'm not a pro at knowing myself yet, like it's
Hmm.
always a journey. And
Yeah.
it took me many years and many experiences before like I came to write these lyrics. And it's about identity and belonging, and it's about the story, like just as you spoke of, like of your identity as a Greek person, of like refugees and immigrants as they come to Canada. And there's lines in there about folks that came to Canada as refugees, and I put that in really intentionally to make sure that I acknowledge that it's kind of a gift that I'm here. Like it's a gift, and it's also a result of like my history and my heritage, why I'm here as well.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
it's not my territory. Like I'm not indigenous. You know what I mean?
No.
So like
Yeah.
Mhm.
we have to always recall that and always remember that and try to honor the land that we're on, um, by taking care of it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then
Oh,
that's
I
something
couldn't
that's
agree.
really important in the lyrics to No Return. And that's why it's a song. Although it's about identity, it's also about environmental justice as well. And there's a few lines in there about that that's like pretty pointed. Um, but it's essential for me to communicate that too. Yeah,
Hmm.
I just
that's a very good question. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
what
No
I
worries.
really appreciate, honestly, I appreciate the fact of what you're doing with your music. And this is why
Thank you.
I don't want to get off on a political tangent here, because
Yeah, sorry about
I'll
that.
go.
I brought it
No,
in.
no, 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 no. I'm
No,
not
no.
talking about
You
you. I'm
can.
talking about
He
me.
can't.
I'm talking about
You
me.
say
I'm talking
whatever
about,
you want.
yeah, you can say
We don't let
whatever
him
you
do it.
like. I'm talking about like all of the recent shit that's been going on with the trucker convoys and all of this stuff, and
Yeah.
white people losing their freedoms. And I'm getting to the point where I'm as white as it gets. When I go into the sun, if I'm in the sun for more than 15 minutes, it's basically like I've been boiled. So, the thing for me is that I recognize the fact that I'm lucky to be where I am. And the thing for me is that
That's real.
I'm ninth generation Canadian,
Oh wow.
and I still consider myself lucky to be here.
Mhm.
I hope the
Yeah.
people that think that they've lost their freedom are just as thankful as I am. That's all I can
Mm,
say. So,
that's real.
Shades, I like every
Mm,
time I listen to you either just talk in this interview about everything that you're passionate about and what you're putting into the world. It's
mm.
just so fucking wonderful. So thank
Thank you
you
so much.
for who you are and what you do on a regular basis. Now,
Thank you so much, Greg.
before we you're not going anywhere yet. So you're I know you're a DJ, so I have a couple of questions for you about,
Yeah.
so you've been a disc jockey now for over a decade, right?
Yeah.
Which,
I started
like,
like quite some time ago.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I
Okay,
won't
so
say a decade though, because I don't want to like age myself.
right,
Age
yeah.
yourself.
Well,
Age
let
yourself.
me put it to you this way. I've been a DJ now for 20 plus years. So there you go. So I've got right now, I don't know if you can see this on the thing,
No,
'cause,
you would have to take your
no, it's-
background down.
Yeah, I
No,
got to
you
take
got
my
to take your
background
background
down.
down.
Okay.
You're just
So
a bunch of weird.
it's just a
images
bunch
there.
of weird stuff, and my camera's doing weird things. Yeah, sorry. So basically, I'm sitting here with a Pioneer DDJ
Okay.
DDJ SX2.
Okay. I got you.
Right, so I play on Serato and all that good stuff. So I'm wondering, how did you get into the whole DJing thing? I mean, it may have been easy being a hip hop artist, but it's interesting because you don't see many MCs become DJs. So
That's
I'm
interesting.
wondering,
Yeah.
where did that kind of happen for you?
To be honest, I think I've always just loved music. Like I grew up on soul and funk and those kind of influences, and I always wanted to get closer to the music kind of. And the first way that I got into it was through starting to DJ. Really, although I started to rap when I was in high school, so I did that actually first verse.
Nice.
But
Nice. Yeah.
but yeah, so I really started to DJ, and that brought me closer to hip hop in a way. And so I'm really grateful for that experience that I'm in still, because that brought me through music and brought me like up to date on the things that are happening today in music, and
Yeah.
that helps the music that I make now too. Although like I've kind of walk my own path too, but yeah, that's what it is, and that's how I got into it to start out.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. No, I just think it's I think like I say it's not common for most MCs to get into to be not only an MC but be a DJ. This kind of me sort of speaking from the classic kind of stance of looking at, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, like that kind of
for
that
real.
sort of classic sort of, Eric B and Rakim. I mean, if
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
Rob
always
Bass and DJ
DJ,
Easy Rock.
you're right. You don't look at a hip
High
hop
tech
artist.
into Lib Kweli,
And
yeah.
exactly, absolutely. Oh, genius. So yeah, I think it's really cool that you managed to do both. So I would
Thank
love.
you.
I'm just
Thank
saying
you.
this. I'm putting this out there right now. I would love to do a DJ set with you one night. That would be
Okay,
that
we'll
would
keep
be
that
awesome.
in mind. We'll keep
I'd
that in
love-
mind for real.
All right.
That
I would
sounds
love
good.
to do that. So
That sounds good. That's fun. I
And
mean,
so-
I usually play like another kind of music. Like I don't usually play hip hop. I usually play electro dancehall.
oh yeah,
and
okay.
and soca house, which is a fusion of like house and EDM with
Yeah.
Afro Caribbean kind
Uh-huh.
of fusion. So I
Yeah.
usually do that instead. But if you ever wanted to play a DJ set, we can definitely talk.
I think it would be awesome if you could play that type of stuff, and I could maybe start out the night. We'll get you to headline,
With
right? We'll
Tiesto.
get but like no. Fuck Tiesto. I'm talking about
Tiesto
Chicago.
from the
Like, let's
intro.
go
That
right
was-
back to the
right.
beginning. Let's go back to
That was-
Chicago House.
That
You know
was
what I mean?
royalty
Let's-
free
Yeah,
Tiesto.
Chicago house. I like for Chicago house. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
what's up.
I
That's
could
what's
do
up.
Chicago House for days. So
Speaking of
I'll
Chicago
open up the night
House,
for you.
Speaking of Chicago House, just because it's in my head, did anybody check out This Is the House That Love Built at AGO? It was
No.
I think it was like 4 years back,
Oh wow.
and it was
Cool.
all based on Chicago House.
Oh, neat.
Are you
That's
serious?
That's
Fuck,
cool.
really? I went
I
by
wonder-
myself and I saw
I
this.
wonder
thing.
if
Like,
that exhibit got to Montreal for Shades.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It probably
That be
would
nice.
have,
I love
yeah,
those
like-
music-inspired ones. Yeah.
Well, there was that classic. Of course, there was the David Bowie exhibit that I
Oh
really,
my-
really
yes,
wanted
yes.
to check out.
So
And I know that one went to Montreal.
Craig, what
Uh,
was the
after
I
us,
didn't
so-
hear about that.
what was the dude's name? I'm not a big house guy. I'm not. What was the dude's name from Chicago? He was the biggest name in Chicago.
Frankie Knuckles.
Frankie Knuckles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So they
yeah,
had
yeah,
they had-
I've heard of him.
So they had a whole thing on him and his quotes and stuff, and it was fantastic. It was a fantastic exhibit because they were showing all these like art poster things,
Mm-hmm.
and you were like, "Oh, those are really interesting. Those are really great." And then you go into another room, and then it shows you what those art images were about, and it was
Yeah.
about incarceration statistics. Incarceration statistics, which is a hard sentence to say.
Yep.
Of
Oh yeah.
right, like of black or people of color in Chicago at that time.
Yeah.
Right. So it was basically, so it was maps of these statistics, like maps of like Chicago area in statistic, but like people were like, "Oh, what a lovely painting," blah blah blah, and then you go into the next room and it explains it, and you're like, "I'm a piece
So
of shit."
it's the socio.
Oh, no.
So it's the
That's
socio.
horrible to hear. I'm sorry
it's
about that.
It's the socioeconomic backdrop of like
Yeah.
where the music came from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
it was all
the whole time you're getting pumped like house music, and you're like, this is really great, and this feels amazing, and everybody feels really great, but yet the same time you're getting like this educated run through of like what was going on in that time, like the time when
That's
Frankie Knuckles was
important.
coming up, right? And it was absolutely fantastic, and I
So
really hope they
Derek,
bring it black. Yes, darling.
Derek, darling. I honestly think that for our if Shades is around and not doing anything, you'll probably be busy. But I'm just saying for the end of June, which of course we all know is the anniversary of the classic Stonewall riots in New York City, which gave birth to gay liberation as we know it today. DJ Kat Springhouse, unfortunately, is not with us tonight, and she's under the weather. But she's definitely going to be a part of our Pride show, which is going to be happening the 27th, I believe. It's the 27th, something like that. Anyway,
27th?
all I can say is it's going to be fucking amazing because I'm going to be playing all of my favorite Pride music.
Oh, great.
So,
That's
and
awesome.
starting basically at disco and working all the way through
look at that.
well, essentially present day, right? So,
play some Shades Lawrence. Play Tux No Gown. That's my Pride anthem. Yeah.
You're damn right we are, my friend. Absolutely.
That's it. And if you want
That's
to
going to be a hard
political,
show for me because I'm going to be in St. John's.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You can join us. It doesn't matter.
I'm going to make it happen, though, because I don't fucking sleep, right? So it's good.
That's my boy. Sorry, Shades, what you were going to say?
Yeah, and if you want to get really political, my song called Pass the Rock, I quote the Stonewall, like, riot.
Well, okay.
And that's really, like, a statement on, like, who I am as an artist. My song, Pass the Rock, which is a reference to playing ball, actually, because we used to call the rock the basketball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say pass the rock, like pass the ball so I can go score. But it's a really song that has a lot of political overtones. And I mentioned the Stonewall riots and race and environmental justice, and it's all in one song. And it's off my EP called Second Life. So if you get a chance to play it during your Pride show, that would be great because it's important to remember the history. And I'm glad you brought up that time period, the Stonewall riots.
So it's interesting you just mentioned that, Shades, because we're actually putting if you don't mind, we're putting your entire discography on Revolution Radio's library. So
awesome.
you're going to be
Thank
playing
you.
music's going to be playing alongside Tupac and David Bowie and Depeche Mode and
feels horrible about that. Don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate that very
much.
Thank you.
No, Craig, I don't want my music played.
Don't play my music.
So Shades, if I could say really quickly here before we let you go, if you get a chance, I'm going to put your webpage, all of your information up at revolutionradio.live at our website.
Okay.
We have a Mixcloud page, which is mixcloud.com/Revolution Radio Canada. I actually did, like when we first started doing this, I actually did a tribute to for Pride Weekend 2 years ago. I did a tribute to the Stonewall riots, and I actually played all of the music that was on the jukebox at the Stonewall at the day at the night of the riots when they first started.
That's a historical retrospective for sure.
Yeah,
I really
it was an amazing show.
That.
Yeah, it was an amazing show. So I'll email it to you. I'll send you the
thank you.
I'll send you the link. So
I appreciate that.
Shades. Do you have any live gigs coming up or like plans for further along in 2022 before we listen to No Return?
There's definitely some shows in the works, but nothing confirmed right yet, but definitely for the next few weeks. I'll leave it at that for now, but keep an eye on my site at shadeslawrence.com. And that way you can stay up to date on the shows that are upcoming because there are a few in the works for sure.
If you play in Toronto, we're all going to be there.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Seriously.
Awesome. That's so cool.
I can't wait. So
that's awesome. I'm glad you're vibing with the music.
Honestly,
that's why I make the music.
Definitely.
I personally would just like to say thank you thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. We greatly appreciate
Thank
it. We
you.
know you're busy. We really appreciate when artists are willing to talk to us and just share their passion because
you've been
we're passionate about it as well too. So
and
thank
it's
you
really
for being
been
here.
and you've been fun to hang out with, even
You
though
really have.
even though we are
have.
all looking at you.
Yeah.
No,
We're
it's
all-
fine. It's fine. It's
We're
fine. That's what you
used
do.
to
That's what you do. Keep being yourself. Keep being yourself.
We're used to
you
this
know?
shit.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
Yeah.
There's
So
Awesome.
I really
Alright.
appreciate the
bedroom, what
opportunity
the
to come
fuck's
through.
going
So
on?
thank you.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thanks again,
so,
Shades. Thank you.
All right. So
Yeah.
that was Shades Lawrence. Here we are on Canadian as Fuck. This is Shades Lawrence with No Return on Revolution Radio.
Thank you. Yeah.
This song is about Canada. I'm here to brag about the motherland. I'm here to stand and say there's no other plan, no return. But take me back, take me back, take me back. No return, but take me back to West Africa. No return, but take me back, take me back, take me back to West Africa, the motherland. No return. Though I learned, hold the land with a thirst. Gold sand, turn time back. Back to the first land I learned. Africa I yearn. No return. Though I learned, hold the land with a thirst. Gold sand, turn time back. Back to the first land I learned. Africa I yearn. I wanna go back. But there's no return, there's no way back, no way through the burn of slavery. I learned the way twice, though my turn was to run through these lands without thought. No concern for the homelands of people that earn, for people that turn, no different thoughts of what it is to be a Canadian, to be a Canuck, like a Jamaican. I'm both, I was born where I'm so scared of people saying I don't deserve patois, I'm not rad enough, I'm faking. From now on I'm waiting until it sees clear. People in boats holding dear to new land for them, new plans for them, refugees I hold dear. Escape with no fear, Syria, West Africa, Nigeria, Cameroon, I hold dear, I hold dear, I hold dear. I hold dear, how do I reconcile these loves? The land's not mine, I'm not scared, I won't belong, the water runs. It's not mine, when people's hearts shine, they volunteer. And build community, no cost to me, just be exist. I stole my dreams for property, to build with family. From now on I'm standing still, I'm planning, see, I ran through everything that's dear to me. Now be you, and hear the beat. No return, though I learned, hold the land with a thirst. Gold sand, turn time back. Back to the first land I learned. Africa I yearn. No return. Though I learned, hold the land with a thirst. Gold sand, turn time back. Back to the first land I learned. Africa I yearn. There's nothing different. Light skin and lit kids, something cryptic, each line scripted. Listen, what's given, never miss. Never slip, wish what's hidden was evident. Less eloquent etiquette are elements, I'm reticent to call myself an immigrant. Listen kid, there's something different. Half white privilege, I missed it. Windshield included, we all the truth is. Cell is lucid, cedar moose. Long as God health, long as forests. Spread out, Northern Ontario. Been there once, that's real where the forest. So still this a love song to Canada. Land of my birth, plans are heard. No words, each reservation expands. Land backs and turns, stands of fur. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a dream deferred. Hourglass demand turns to debate streams heard firsthand. The plains speak, mountain peaks, every lake, river, dreams. Remember the land of your birth, homeland. The worst that can happen is someone says you don't belong. Remember the land you love, stay strong. West Africa, take me back. Take me back. West Africa, take me back. Take me back to West Africa, the motherland.
Shades, thank you so much, my friend. Honestly,
Thank you all. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it for having me for sure.
Thank you so much. Again,
Thank
we
you so
sincerely appreciate it. We are going to, in just a couple of minutes here, we are going to play a woman from Montreal, Charlotte Cardin, who was all over the Juno Awards this past weekend, and congratulations to her. Fantastic stuff. We're going to hear that in just a minute. And before that, we're going to get our man Derek. Would you be able to talk about Isque?
Oh, Isque. I'm going to pull it up on my phone.
Go ahead.
Just let me know when I should say goodbye.
Oh, don't worry about it. What ends up happening? No, what ends up happening is I take you out of the. I probably should have put this in the email. Actually, that's my bad. Really professional there, DJ Craig G. Don't worry about it. I take you out of the broadcast, so it's all good.
Okay, cool.
You know, so yeah, we're just gonna hang with us for a minute.
Cool.
Just hang with us for a minute. It's cool. We don't mind you hanging out.
Yeah, seriously.
No, that's good.
It's good.
It's quite enjoyable. Good times.
So, Esque is short for Dimitri. You're my guy. Wasequan Esque.
That sounds good to me.
That sounds good. Okay.
So it's one of those things like when you're trying to pronounce like French Canadian words and you don't want to fuck it up, you know, it's like, right? You know, and you say it really slowly, right? Hoping that you're going to say it properly, but maybe you don't.
I just want the
good
bagel.
For you, Derek. I think it was good.
Right?
I think it was good.
Thank you. Which translated means blue sky woman?
Isque. Yeah.
Esque. Blue sky woman.
Isque. Yeah.
Is, among other things, an artist, a creator, and a communicator of music and of movement, of pictures, poetry, and prose. And through it all, she's a storyteller of stories that have impacted our past and will inform our future. Esque's third album was released on the 8th of November, 2019. Sorry. I have a hard time reading. Sorry. It's not her debut album.
Sorry, Shades, inside joke. sorry about that. We won't do any inside jokes, guys. I'm not going to eat a box of Triscuits. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway. All right.
So their 2019 album, the album won a Juno Award for Music Video of the Year for the song "Little Star," directed by Sarah Leggott. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Sounds great.
And was a Juno Award nominee for Adult Alternative Album of the Year at the Juno Awards of 2020. Her song "Breaking Down" was shortlisted for the 2020 SOCAN Songwriting Music Prize and the Video Prism Prize. She has, to her credit, she has the 2017 winner of the Reveal Indigenous Arts Award, the 2017 WCMA winner of Electronic Artist of the Year Award, the 2018 Polaris Prize long list for The Fight Within, 2018 Juno nominee for The Fight Within as well, 2022 nominee for the Prism Prize of Breaking Down, 2020 nominee for the SOCAN Songwriting Prize for the song Breaking Down as well, 2020 Juno nominee for Alternative Album of the Year, and 2020 Juno winner for the song that we're going to hear today on Revolution Radio, Canadian as Fuck, Edition 18. This is Little Star by Esque.
Thank you so much, Shades.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And take good care.
Oh, and by the way, I would love to see Shades Lawrence and Isque do a song together.
That would be rad.
Would be amazing.
Yeah.
100%.
That could be rad.
Canadian as Fuck right here on Revolution Radio Canada.
Take good care and thank you all.
You too. Thank you.